All right, finishing up with Cnidaria and Phylum Ctenophora. Should be able to get the rest of these notes done today. Going to start you out with a little video here on the reproduction, particularly reproduction in coral reefs. So get that going.
Some corals are male and release clouds of sperm. Nearby, a female will be releasing eggs. Other species of coral are both male and female. These release packages of eggs already pre-wrapped in sperm. Bundles of eggs and sperm float to the surface to mix with others from further along the reef. Each kind of coral times its release to a certain hour on a certain night. That maximizes the chances of cross-fertilization. The fertilized eggs drift away from the reef.
So one of the interesting things there, and he just kind of brushed over, is they actually time the release. It's a certain day at a certain specific time of that day. And for organisms that simple, with that simple of a nervous system, we don't really understand what it is that they sense that causes that to happen, but it is amazingly well coordinated. And people actually go and dive these reefs to try to, witness this and be able to film this actually happening, because it's such a interesting, unique thing. And most all species will reproduce within a relatively short period of time, but different species at different specific times of the day. So it's kind of interesting. All right, this last phylum, the Ctenophorans, nothing on that slide is a Ctenophoran. These guys are not jellies. They are not cnidarians at all. They're a group called comb jellies. Very different, kind of an oddball group. They actually have been, we've known about them for over 100 years, although probably interest and understanding of them really has only been within the last few decades as we've done more deeper sea exploring where we find these guys. So they are commonly called the comb jellies. They are all found in saltwater marine environments. And as of this point, we've identified about 100 species. Given that they tend to live at great depths, the thought is there's probably a lot more than 100 species actually out there. It's just what we've been able to identify. They can be spherical in shape, more ovoid or kind of oval in shape, or elongated out like these you see in the picture there. The really, really neat thing about these is all of them have bioluminescence, meaning they make their own light, which deep in the ocean there is no light. That tends to be one place that we see a lot of this bioluminescent activity. The thought is that bioluminescence attracts plankton to them, and that's what they're going to feed on. So it helps them to capture their prey. the plankton will move towards them, just kind of like, on land, insects are attracted to light. Radially symmetrical. The reason they're called comb jellies is that they have 8 plates of fused cilia. So little hair-like projections, cilia, but fused together makes them look like a hair comb. Think of just like, the old, black plastic comb that, old men carry in their pocket to comb their hair with. It looks like they've got these combs around them, and that's where they get their name. They actually move by beating those cilia. And of course, like the cnidarians, 2 cell layers, an outer epidermis and an inner gastrodermis, very similar as far as digestion, a single opening cavity. Most of the body is made up of that jelly-like mesoglia, just like we would see in the sea jellies and the scyphozoans that we talked about yesterday. They do sometimes have tentacles that extend out from them, but the body and the tentacles are covered with a very sticky mucus. So they use this bioluminescence in order to attract these plankton organisms to them. They get stuck in that mucus, and they use that cilia to then move that food to the mouth, where they can digest it and eat them. Here's a little video of one of these guys. This is called the lobed comb jelly. And what you're seeing is the cilia beating in the water, but because they've got those bioluminescent cells that produce that light, it actually gives a prismatic effect. It kind of looks like little rainbows. But what's going to happen is they're going to capture their prey in that sticky mucus and use those cilia to push that food into the mouth where they're going to digest it. Relatively simple little guys. Not real well studied because they're only found in the deep ocean. There is no other light. They don't usually survive the trip to the surface all that well. Because the pressure is so much greater down there. So when they keep these in an aquarium, they have to keep them in a pressurized, very cold water environment. Here's another one, also from Monterey Bay Aquarium for you. Kind of an interesting name, the Bloody Belly Comb Jelly. You can kind of see why it's got that name. Nothing real complex or special about them. They just kind of do their thing, swimming around in the deep ocean, using their bioluminescence to attract prey, taking it in, digesting it, getting rid of the waste, just continuing what they do. I'm not really sure if anything really eats these guys or not. They don't have the stinging cells like the cnidarians do, so they don't have that defense. But it's also pretty sparsely populated in the deep ocean, so there's probably not predators for them to worry about, even if there are things that would eat them. Alrighty, and that is the end of our notes on Cnidaria and Ctenophora. Remember, tomorrow is Wednesday, so you do have a note check due on Wednesday and through today's notes. And then tomorrow we will start into our various groups of worms as we kind of work up through the invertebrates and kind of keep on plugging away. So hope everybody's staying safe and healthy, and we will see you all soon.